Aries crew, come on in, come on in, come on in. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. We do have a fabulous show lined up for you tonight. Bear with me, I'm getting back into the groove, so my energy level's gonna, increase the more of these that I do. If you have not had a chance to check out the live that I did yesterday, I did discuss a major life change that took place for me that happened last week. I lost the father of my youngest two children. We had been together for a very long time. We shared a lot of great memories and good times and many, many years together. He's definitely going to be missed, and it was such a shock and it was very unexpected. So it's just taken me a little bit to get back into things that I was doing before that situation happened. So thank you for your grace. And to get a little bit more detail, check out the live that I did yesterday. I have that posted on the community page. You can check out the live tab. And if you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and here on this channel, we talk about movies, streaming shows, TV shows, celebrity news, politics, world news, local news, basically anything I find interesting, I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. And tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the Diddy trial. So we're going to get some updates on some testimony that took place today. Also, the judge was very upset and had a pretty stern discussion with the defense and prosecution team about a violation that occurred. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to discuss Brashier Gray. He was a star on Empire along with Terrence Howard, Taraji P. Henson, and Jesse Smollett, and looks like he got into some legal trouble recently. So we'll get a little bit more information on that. We have an update on the Smokey Robinson lawsuit here that we have to discuss. And then we also have another lawsuit that has been filed that we have to get into, and that's a lawsuit against Tyler Perry. So hold on here. Writing this little note down real quick. So we got a lot to discuss. So we're going to wait until some folks get in the room. And you know the drill. If you've been on a live before, if you are a returning Aries crew member, leave hashtag Aries crew in the comments. If you're a first time watcher, leave first time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by. We're going to take a moment for some comments here. Tylen, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate you. Hope your week is going well so far. And then we got some stories we're going to get into today. And we're going to get started with our first story here, which is about Tyler Perry, who has a lawsuit that has been filed against him. We're going to take a quick pause here for some comments. Michael, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you. Hope you are having a good week. And so let's get into this about Tyler Perry. So it looks like he is being sued for sexual assault. So we're getting some reporting here from TMZ. Just heard about this today, so wanted to dive into it more. And I'm getting the details live on here with my Aries crew. Tyler Perry's facing an accusation of sexual assault, a claim coming from an actor on his long-running TV show The Oval, and one Tyler's camp calls a scam. TMZ has learned Derek Dixon filed a lawsuit against Perry, and in the docs he claimed he and the director met at an event back in 2019. In Derek's words, Tyler picked him out of the crowd and asked him for his phone number, suggesting he might have a role for him. As it turns out, he did. Derek says Tyler gave him a small role in 2 episodes of a show called Ruthless. Then in January 2020, Derek says Tyler invited him to his Atlanta home and he accepted, hoping to build a friendship that would lead to more acting gigs. But according to the suit, while there, Derek drank too much and ended up sleeping in a guest room. In the docs obtained by TMZ, Derek claims Tyler got into bed with him and started touching his thighs, and although he rejected the advances that night, he claims Tyler remained interested. Shortly thereafter, Derek says he landed the role of Dale in The Oval. Great for his career, but he claims it was around this time that Tyler also started firing off actually suggestive texts, including asking what Drew's actual preferences were and telling him that he has X with men. Derek also notes his character Dale was written as a gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with other characters for a place to stay. He claims that's exactly what Tyler told him he was looking for in a real life actual partner, someone who would be loyal and dependent upon Tyler. Derek says he feared his career would be so derailed if he flatly rejected Tyler, so instead, he told him he just wasn't the actual type, but he was always terrified he'd lose his job if he complained of actual harassment. To that point, he says Tyler once again invited him to Atlanta later in 2020 and things allegedly took a dark turn. Derek claims Perry greeted him warmly but quickly started an actually charged conversation and then grabbed Derek by the throat while saying, "Look how excited you just got." Says he pushed Tyler away, and that was the end of that alleged incident. The lawsuit includes years of text messages allegedly sent between both men. Most of the ones Tyler allegedly sent are actually charged. For instance, one reads, "No straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you unless they wanted to F you. I would F you." The most aggressive incident allegedly went down in June 2021, again at Tyler's Atlanta home. Dixon was staying in the guest house and wearing only his underwear when he says Tyler came in to give him a goodnight hug. He alleges Tyler yanked down his underwear, groped his backside, and said, "Relax, just let it happen," and assured him it wasn't going to hurt. Dixon says he managed to rebuff this advance by changing the subject. According to the suit, Dixon finally filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in June 2024 and then quit the Oval, saying he could no longer put up with the alleged sexual harassment. Dixon is suing Tyler and Tyler Perry Studios for quid pro quo and workplace sexual harassment and sexual assault and battery. He's seeking $260 million in damages. Tyler's attorney, Matthew Boyd, tells us, quote, "This is an individual who got close to Tyler for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam, but Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail." End quote. Let me know your thoughts on that. That was a lot, and I don't know here if Tyler Perry has responded. As far as I can see right now, there is no response that has been indicated by him to this lawsuit, but we will be monitoring this. So as more information comes out, we will let you know here. You can do me a favor if you're on the live and do a like. It goes a long way. It's a free way to support the channel. It helps us get more eyes out there, and we really, really appreciate that. And let's get into our next story here. There's been rumors about Tyler for years in the industry, so I don't know if there's any truth to this or not. But I think he just had a movie come out on Netflix, The Last Straw. I haven't seen it yet, but I was hearing some pretty good buzz about that movie. But it seems like every time he's got something that comes out or he's doing something that puts him back in the mainstream, something ends up going on with him, like when he spoke at Angie Stone's funeral, and then Monique and her husband came out with a statement about him still owing her an apology for what occurred during the time she had been supposed to be promoting Precious that caused a rift in that relationship. And he just had another movie come out on Netflix here, The Last Straw, and then this lawsuit drops. So I don't know what's going on with that, but interesting timing with that stuff. But definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. If you think he'll settle, if it's going to go any further or go to trial. And then we're going to get into our next story. So, Brashier Gray, who was on Empire, when that show was on. Really great actor. He also played in the life story about New Edition, and he played Michael Bivins in that movie, and I thought he did a fantastic job. Like, he captured his essence, his energy, his vibes really, really well. So it felt like you were actually watching them go through, growing up and going through the different stories they were talking about of how the group came together and all the different experiences they had as a group, and when they broke off in the different little variations of the group as well. But he's had some personal struggles since that show has gone off the air, maybe even a little bit before it went off the air, but definitely since it's been off the air. I haven't really seen him doing too many acting things or really out there doing anything in the acting world, but he's definitely had some publicized legal troubles, and it looks like he had some more. So this one is saying that he allegedly got into a dispute with a man over a bill. So this is reporting from TMZ. Former Empire star Brashier Gray allegedly lunged at a man and punched him at a hotel last Friday before assault charges were filed. This according to the criminal complaint obtained by TMZ. The alleged assault went down in Chesapeake, Virginia, where a man named Dustin Wilkins was trying to help the actor with a payment dispute at the Homewood Suites. Wilkins says he told Gray he can't just skip out on the bill for his stay, reasoning he has plenty of other issues to worry about, and that was simply trying to save his life, which seemingly angered Gray. It's unclear if the two men knew each other. Wilkins writes Gray subsequently charged at him from around his car, plunging into him with his shoulder and nearly knocking Wilkins to the ground. Wilkins adds Gray was fighting with him as he recorded the incident on his phone, and Gray allegedly delivered a blunt blow to him along with at least one punch. As we reported, Gray was arrested Sunday and charged with one misdemeanor count of assault and battery. He has since bonded out of jail and is due back in court for his arraignment on Wednesday. It's not the first time Gray has been detained for assault. He was put behind bars for 10 days in 2020 for felony DV plus 3 years probation. Found himself back in the slammer November 2022 for allegedly violating his probation. I wish him all the best. I understand he's had some struggles. I don't know what his financial situation looked like or how he used the money from Empire, or if some is still saved, or if he had other things going on where he's making money to survive. But it just looks like he's definitely going through some downtime in his life, and definitely wishing him all the best. I hope he's got people he can lean on to get through this. If he is going through some struggles with substances, I hope he gets the help that is needed to be able to get back on track so he can live his life again and not have to worry about these different issues coming up. It's really sad when you hear about people with such talent that have a really hard time getting their life together and getting things back on track. So my heart definitely goes out to him and his family. Best wishes. He's definitely a talented actor. I think he even did some stuff in music as well. So I hope, he can still come back, because he's still young enough that if he can get his life together, he can make a comeback and still be successful. I think people would want to see him. He was definitely solid when he was in the acting game. But let me know your thoughts on Brashier Gray and kind of everything that's gone on with him since the show has ended. And now we're going to go into the legend Smokey Robinson. So this year, amongst many things that were not on my bingo card for 2025, Smokey Robinson had a lawsuit that was filed against him by, I want to say, 4 former housekeepers that alleged that he, touched them inappropriately, that he actually assaulted them. They're also alleging battery as well. And his wife is also being sued for a hostile work environment. And we got an update on that. So we got a little bit more information here, and we are tracking the lawsuit and the investigation that's being done by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department into the allegations, because there was a complaint filed with them as well. So those two things are happening. The police are investigating and there's a lawsuit. So let's get into the update that we have from TMZ about what's going on with that. Smokey Robinson is is trying to turn up the heat on a woman accusing him of sexual abuse, asking the court to compel her disposition and sanction her, or deposition, excuse me, and sanction her attorneys. The singer-songwriter filed the new document Thursday, claiming Jane Doe's two attorneys won't set up a date for her deposition and telling the judge the delay isn't fair to Smokey. Robinson argues his livelihood is being affected by the delay because each day these allegations against him drag out affect his touring income. So he may be seeing less people wanting to maybe sponsor or come out to the tour while these allegations are hanging out there. I did see, like in my area, he's going to be coming out here soon. I was wondering how his tours were selling. So sounds like it's impacting them based on what his attorney saying. Smokey says the court can compel this woman's deposition within the next 14 days, and he's asking for sanctions against her attorneys for forcing him to go to court to make it happen. They're asking the judge to sanction her attorneys in the amount of $4,762.50, the amount Smokey and his wife Frances have spent on an attorney to fight this discovery battle. As you know, Smokey was accused of sexual assault by multiple women back in early May, claims he vigorously denies. As we previously reported, law enforcement looked into an alleged sexual assault by Smokey back in 2015. We've reached out to the plaintiff's attorney, and so far, no word back. So we'll keep an eye out on this and see if they are able to get the judge to compel this person to do their deposition. Definitely following to see what comes out of this particular situation here, if it even goes as far as to go to trial. To tell you, I was completely shocked to see his name associated with any of these allegations, let alone a lawsuit, and multiple women coming out with very similar stories based on what I've seen from it. Just very shocking. Smokey Robinson has had to have been in the music game for like 60 years at this point, because he had been in for a long time by the time I came along, and he was a big piece of the Motown sound, and architect for that look and just everything about what Motown stood for. Very much him and Berry Gordy were hand in hand in making that company what it was, making those stars what it was. He wrote a lot of songs for a lot of big names on that label as well. So he's definitely cemented his place in music history and black music history, for sure, in American music history. So we'll see what comes from that situation. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you just as shocked as I am? Had you ever heard any allegations against Smokey Robinson prior to this lawsuit? I know I personally hadn't. So all of that really came as a surprise to me. And now we're going to get into the Diddy trial here. There's some more stuff that has gone on, and I did see earlier today the judge was pretty upset and spoke with the prosecution and the defense about a violation that took place here. So let's see if we can get some more details on that. And this first one here is a reporting from TMZ: male escorts, travel, hotel expenses paid for by Diddy. So let's see what they're talking about here. What came out today. A moment for a quick drink of water. All right, and if you're on the live, you can do me a favor and hit that like button. It goes a long way, means a lot, helps our channel get some more eyes on it. So we really appreciate your help in helping our channel to grow here. And let's get into this story. So Sean Diddy Combs' federal ex-trafficking and racketeering trial resumed Tuesday in New York City for the 25th day. And federal special agent testified about travel and hotel expenses involving alleged male escorts that Diddy paid for. Delessa Pinlan, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, the agency prosecuting the case against Diddy, testified Diddy's American Express account was charged nearly $47,000 for damages at a single hotel in New York in one instance. Some people don't even make or just make $47,000 a year working, and that was something that was paid just for damages at a single hotel. Like, That's how you know you have money. And what kind of damages did you do to a hotel room that you have to pay $47,000? That's crazy. And let's see. Penland told the jury Diddy, Cassie Ventura, and Jules Theodore, an alleged male escort, stayed at the London hotel on a particular date, which was paid for on Diddy's Amex, so American Express, as well as Virgin America plane tickets for Jules. More travel records were cited during the testimony, including an American Airlines flight from New York City to LA and a stay at the Four Seasons Hotel for a man named Clayton Howard, aka Dave. Bad Boy Entertainment is listed on the travel invoice. Penland also testified about booking for the Intercontinental Hotel in Times Square, New York, in the name of Frank Black, with a 46,786 American Express $86 American Express payment for damage to the penthouse. Previous witnesses testified Diddy often used Frank Black as an alias when booking hotels around the country. There were even more travel charges mentioned on the stand, including a hotel in Riverhead in the Hamptons on Long Island. Penland was then asked about a series of texts and calls between Diddy and Cassie on March 5th and 6th, 2016. The date Diddy is seen in the infamous video assaulting Cassie in a hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. A text from Diddy says, quote, "The cops are here," end quote. A quote from Cassie to Diddy reads, quote, "You are sick to think it is okay to do what you have done. Please stay away from me. I have a premiere," end quote. Penland tells the jury Diddy texts Cassie, quote, "Call me, help," end quote. Then another text, quote, "Help me, I am about to be arrested." And then another, "If you don't pick up, you'll never hear my voice again." Penland said it appears the call was not answered. So that sounds like that was some of the aftermath from the incident that video was shown by CNN on their station. And then that video has since come out again, but on the unedited version, which looks a little bit different than the CNN one, but the gist is still the same. And so that was pretty much the one that if anybody doubted anything had occurred between Diddy and Cassie, that video kind of put that to rest. And even Diddy had to come out and publicly acknowledge that video. So that one definitely was the one seen around the world, in my opinion. So it's a little bit interesting to hear a little backstory to that. And then let's check out some of the other testimony that has been discussed today. And hold on here. Let me pull that up. All right. So it looks like there was more freak off footage that was showed to the jury. And this is reporting from TMZ. Diddy's defense team isn't backing away from the jury seeing the alleged freak off videos because they are showing jurors even more footage from them now. The viewing went down Tuesday in day 25 of Diddy's federal trial in Manhattan as defense attorney Tinny Garagos was cross-examining a Department of Justice special agent. And we're into a little pause here. Melva, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you. Hope you are having a great day. And that is a lot of damage. I just think that's crazy how much was paid just in damages, which just makes me think, what did you just trash the room? Like put holes in the walls, like destroy all the stuff in there? Like how do you get to 40 as adults? How do you get to $46,000 worth of damages? But that's also how you know you have money, because I just couldn't imagine spending that much money on just damages. That's not going to benefit me in any way. That was just from stuff that got messed up. Why would I want to spend that kind of money on that? It's crazy, but it's how the other half lives, I guess. And then we'll jump back into the story here. Garagos queued up a few videos, and jurors put on headphones and watched the freak off footage on screens not viewable by lawyers, prosecutors, or those in the gallery, which I think makes sense because that would be incredibly awkward to be watching adult content in a courtroom full of people. I'm sure it's a little bit awkward for the jurors in and of itself. Can only imagine what they're seeing. Prosecutors first showed jurors snippets of the same freak-offs that were shown Monday afternoon, though yesterday the jury only saw and heard around 30 seconds each from 3 different clips that were each 11 or 12 minutes long. It appears the defense's cut was much longer today, and we're told jurors saw over 10 minutes of footage before taking a lunch break. The courtroom was once again so quiet, folks in the gallery could hear muffled sounds from the jurors' headphones, though we're told it wasn't loud enough to make out what was happening on their monitors. Diddy, wearing a cream-colored sweater and gray pants, looked in the direction of the jurors as they watched the videos, and he brought a book with him to court, The Power of Positive Thinking. Garagos teed up the viewing portion by showing the jury some text exchanges between Diddy and Cassie that had already been shown in court, including one where Cassie told Diddy, "I'm always ready to freak off. It can be whenever." Prosecutors claim Diddy coerced Cassie into participating in freak offs, but the defense team says she was a willing participant. So let me know your thoughts on that. If you are following this Diddy trial, do you feel that the prosecution is doing their job of showing that he was engaged in racketeering, or do you think that the defense is doing a good job in kind of poking holes in all of the um, witnesses that they're trying to bring up there, or testimony that they're trying to say that shows that he was engaged in racketeering? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I've been following a little, but last week I pretty much lost that whole week because I was just really in a very sad place after losing the father to my kids. So I didn't get a chance to really get as caught up on that as I had been before. But from last I remember, it didn't seem like in my opinion, the prosecution had fully um, sold that he had been into racketeering along with what he was doing. Like that whole thing was some kind of criminal enterprise. I don't know that they're necessarily proving that, but let me know your thoughts. You may hear something different or get something different from the testimony. I'm going to see if I can find why that judge was upset today. And I want to say it had something to do with something that was sealed in the courts had been released out, maybe into social media or to a reporter that should not have been released. And they're going to do an investigation into it. They don't know if it was the defense or if it was the prosecution. So that's how court started today. And let's see if I can find anything on that. Here, looking that up. If you are familiar, let me know in the comments here. I'm not running into it yet, but I'm looking into it a different way. And let's see what I can find on here. All right, so there we go. And this is on NBCnews.com that I am reading this from. So, Diddy trial judge rebukes lawyers after sealed information appears in media report. So, let's get some details on this. Today, United States government prosecutors attempted to put a finer point on the case they've presented over the last 5 weeks. They walked jurors through text messages, phone logs, hotel bookings, and other evidence of what they say points to a sprawling criminal conspiracy led by a man with a relentless desire for freak-offs. Diddy's defense team continued to forcefully push back against suggesting that the women in Diddy's life were willing participants in the substance-dazed actual episodes. Both sides' legal arguments are familiar at this point, but the lawyers are clearly trying to drive home their key points as the prosecution prepares to rest its case. Oh, so it looks like it's going to be the defense coming up soon. And let's see here. So, for the situation with the judge, he rebuked the prosecution, and the judge is Arun Subramanian. He rebuked the prosecution and the defense over an online article that appeared to include details from a sealed proceedings. Ah, that's what happened. He asked the lawyers whether they knew the report's source. Someone is lying. Sumerian said the transcript was sealed. Quote, the court imposed a gag order on the government, the defendant, all attorneys for the defense, and anyone involved was made accountable. End quote. Sumerian added, quote, what happened here may result in civil or criminal contempt charges for all involved. So we will definitely keep an eye out on that to see if any more information comes up that's related to that particular situation. I don't know what the information is or what media outlet reported that yet, but as more details are known, we'll definitely come on and report that here. That was pretty interesting. And so it looks like it might be this week or maybe next week the prosecution wraps up, and then the defense team will be doing their having up their witnesses or their people that are going to speak to Diddy's defense. Let me know if you think Diddy should speak on his behalf or if he should just let his attorneys do the talking. I don't think he should take the stand myself. I think he would be better off just letting the judges do the talking for him, but very curious to see what your thoughts may be on it if you think something different. And let's see here. That's going to be it for the Diddy trial because we are going to do a live just dedicated to the days that I missed last week of Diddy trial testimony. So we'll get caught up on everything. But for right now, I'm just going to pick up where we are right now. And then we'll go back and do another one here where we'll touch on all of that stuff. And let's talk about, so this one I haven't gotten to, and then this one will be what we'll end on. So there was a situation where a gentleman had went out and two Congress people lost their lives at this person's hand and two were injured. As far as I know right now, a motive as to why that was done is not known yet, but we're going to get some reporting from TMZ. Remote Minnesota lawmaker shootings, disturbing notebooks found in cars, strategic plans of attacks, officials say. Disturbing notebooks found in the vehicle of Vance Boletaire, the man accused of targeting and shooting Minnesota lawmakers this week, revealed just how strategic he was in allegedly planning the brutal unalivings. The acting U.S. attorney for Minnesota released images of Voltaire's alleged notes, and they appear to show meticulous planning, including a list of websites offering addresses and other info about the alleged targets' homes, and even how long the websites' free trials lasted. Authorities confirm more than 45 Minnesota individuals, state, federal officials, many of whom support abortion rights, were named in these notebooks, and several had their addresses listed as well. That is scary. Drew Evans, superintendent of the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, cautioned in a press conference that while the writings contained other thoughts surrounding Voltaire's alleged plot, the journals are no manifesto containing elaborate detail about was labeled an assassination by Governor Tim Walz and others. In addition to chilling notebooks, authorities found 5 Pow Pows, including semi-automatic and assault-style rifles and a large quantity of ammunition in Voltaire's police-style Ford SUV vehicle. As we reported, Voltaire allegedly drove himself to several lawmakers' residences Saturday morning in a car decked out with flashing lights, specifically meant to resemble the vehicle of a law enforcement official. That's sick. Wow. I mean, that's just when you go with the intent of impersonating something else, trying to manipulate people into doing something that you know is going to set them up to have harm caused to them. That to me is a sick mind. The vehicle's lights were flashing when police arrived at Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark's house in Brooklyn Park, where they said Boltaire, wearing a police uniform, allegedly fired at them and then shot several rounds into the home before fleeing on foot through the back of the house. Hortman and her husband died from their injuries, while Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife required emergency surgery after Boltaire allegedly shot them multiple times in their Chaplin home. They survived the attack. Boltaire was arrested not far from home outside Green Isle, Minnesota, Sunday night after a nearly 2-day manhunt. He's been charged by state prosecutors with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder, along with 6 federal charges. Wow. So I don't know what's going on with us out here, but definitely stay safe. Don't just open the door if somebody could be impersonating a law enforcement officer. That's what this person was doing. Very scary. You gotta definitely pray for our world that we get into better spaces here and we treat each other better, and we don't have to agree with politics. That's the beauty of being able to vote, but we definitely don't want to make that the norm as to how we handle situations. I think voting is where you can make your voice known if you don't agree with something or you want to change something, or you run for office and be that change if you're not seeing it. If you are on the live this long, I thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you being here and watching the show. Go ahead and hit that like button. It goes a long way. It's a free way to support the channel. Go ahead and join the Aries crew. All you got to do is hit that subscription button. We'd love to have you a part of our crew here. It's free to join. We have a great time over here. And then hit that bell so you can find out every time I go live, post videos, post on the community page, and all that good stuff. We'll be back on live tomorrow night for our show. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, get a little bit more information on, let me know here in the comments, or you can let me know in the community page as well. If it's something I can do a live on, I definitely will. We can't do a live on everything, but definitely want to hear your suggestions or thoughts. Let me know if you'd be up for a little bit more wrestling content. I've been watching that a lot on watching WWE Raw on Netflix. So if you're into that, I definitely would love to do a little bit more content on wrestling. Let me know. I appreciate you so much for watching. Share this live out with family and friends. It helps us to get some more eyes on the channel. We're trying to get to 2,000 here by the end of June, trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of June. So your support is greatly appreciated. Have a wonderful rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world. And a quick pause here for comments. Joshua, hello. Thank you so much for being on the live. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.